Hi, I'm Naohiro Takaku from JCB Mumbai office. JCB is a global payment network headquartered in Japan, and we are very successfully utilizing big data in Japan. So today I'll talk about how JCB is transforming payment data into business. First, let me talk a bit about JCB. One of our business fields is a global payment business. We license JCB brand to the financial institutions globally and facilitate the issuance of JCB cards as well as acquiring of JCB brands. In India, we tie up with NPCI since 2015, and as of today, there are about 7 issuers issuing RuPay JCB global cards. In Japan, on top of the license business, we do the direct issuing and acquiring business. We issue JCB cards to consumers directly, and we by ourselves acquire JCB merchants in Japan. And this is where we obtain massive amount of data. Since we do the business directly in Japan, we hold card member agreements and merchant agreements. And of course, our card members are constantly making transactions by their JCB cards at JCB merchants. In this cycle, we obtain massive amount of card member data, merchant data, and payment data. For example, age, gender, or residential area of card member, or the business categories or business size of merchants, and of course, all the details about transactions made by our card members. In the past, we used to utilize this data in a very limited way, such as marketing purpose for our own issuing business and also marketing support service to our merchants, in which we send out DM to the right segment of the card members on behalf of the merchants. But as the word big data has a keyword or the trend of society, we decided to expand the usage of our payment data. And what we did in the first place was that the re-evaluation of our data to find out what is the real value of it. First, we believe that the value of our data lies in its volume. We have massive amount of data, and we came to think that it is big enough to grasp not only the card payment world, but also the entire consumption trend of Japan. Second, it's speed. It comes very fast. So basically, transactions are online. So we get the data the moment our card member make a transaction. And third point is comprehensiveness. JCB is the single acquirer of JCB brand in Japan, which means nobody else can acquire JCB merchants in Japan. So we have agreements with all the merchants in Japan. So wherever our card member make a transaction or whatever the merchant it is, we have the data of the merchants. This brings a great deal of comprehensiveness to our payment data because we pick up any payment data, and that data comes with the complete merchant information without an exception. With these characteristics, we came to realize that we can do a lot more than just utilizing it for marketing purpose, and this is where we came up with the concept of JCB Consumption Now. JCB Consumption Now is a whole new index of consumption trend for the entire Japan based on our payment data. We launched this service in 2017. And here's what we do in this service. First, we choose 1 million card members randomly and we anonymize the data. And based on the transaction data of those 1 million card members, totaling around 80 billion JPY or 57 billion INR, we come up with the consumption index for the entire Japan. And this is not only for the card payment consumption. This is the entire Japan's consumption index, including all modes of payment such as cash. And we provide this index as well as the detailed data via online on a membership basis. And this is where we make money out of it. And of course, our members can access to this database at any time, and they can very flexibly customize the data. And our targets include such as economists or analysts or central or local governments or marketing departments of any companies. And we are providing this service in a partnership with Nowcast. Nowcast is a leading company in Japan in the field of big data, especially alternative data, which comes from payment. We provide and manage payment data, and Nowcast processes it in a statistical way. And we believe this service is one of its kind in Japan, thanks to its outstanding strength. And those strengths lie in accuracy, speed, frequency, and variety. First, accuracy. So we're making the entire Japan's consumption index based on our card payment data. So the question you may have in your mind is that how accurate it would be. We are benchmarking Japan's one of the most reliable consumption index, which is Consumption Activity Index by Bank of Japan. And our index from JCB Consumption Now has been showing a high correlation with the index by Bank of Japan. So we believe that our index is a reflection of the true nature of Japanese consumption trend. And second, speed and frequency. JCB Consumption Now is the earliest way to get the consumption index in Japan. With classic type of consumption index, it usually comes after 1 month. So November's index, you get it sometime in January. And it might be the case that by the time you get this index, the situation of the economy may have been changed. And all you can do with this index is to know what has happened in the past. But with JCB Consumption Now, it comes in 15 days. So November's index, you get it sometime around 15th of December. So with JCB Consumption Now, you grasp the current status of the economy. And this is why we named the service as JCB Consumption Now. And third point is variety. Leveraging the huge range, wide range of our merchant data, we are providing not only the entire Japan's consumption index, but also the consumption index for the 39 business categories. For example, the entertainment is one of the categories that we provide the index for, but we further break it down to something like movie theater or amusement park. So JCB Consumption Now provides not only the entire Japan's consumption index, but also the detailed segment-wise consumption index, which is meeting the various needs and demands of our customers. So these strengths make our service one of its kind in Japan, and we believe that the JCB Consumption Now is the best way to know the consumption trend of Japan. And this is the reason why the service is widely appreciated in Japan. And these are some of the recent references to the service. So it's by Bank of Japan or Cabinet Office. Basically, Japanese government is referring to the service, and there were various media reports and articles. As the awareness to the big data increases, we feel that we're getting more popularity in the market. Now let's briefly turn our eyes to what we are actually providing through this service. This is the change of this year's total consumption index against 2018 and the number of new COVID infections in Japan. And I'm using the 2018 figure as a comparison because there was unusual consumption movement last year, 2019, due to the increase of consumption tax. So clearly in the COVID time, the consumption level goes down and especially during the state of emergency, where which was in April to May, basically government was asking people not to go out unless it is really necessary. And consumption level gradually recovering toward October. And JCB consumption now can add some more layers to this kind of data. The added two lines are category-wise consumption index. Green one is index for goods, and black one is index for service. Clearly, service sector are being hit by COVID worse, while the goods sector is doing still okay, because in Japan, most of the stay-home consumption, such as EC, belongs to this goods sector. Let's further go into the categories of the consumption. This is the change of consumption index for the categories, detailed categories of electronical appliances, furniture, and EC. So these sectors are doing even better in COVID time, and these are the so-called stay-home consumption. On the other hand, these added three lines are the category-wise consumption index for travel, food service, transportation. And as we all know, these sectors are hit very severely by COVID, so they are doing very bad in the last 6 months. But the travel is recovering toward October, and this is because of the government's stimulus policy to give out subsidy to consumers when they travel. Let's further dig into the data. This is the 2019's age-wise EC consumption, and it is a change against previous year. So basically, before COVID, EC consumption growth was happening mainly at younger generation, and while we are having some negative growth in the older generation. And so what happened to this? Is the same trend continuing or something else? Here's what happened. After COVID, EC consumption growth is happening across the age group. So even our grandparents are buying more stuff on EC. And digitalization of EC consumption is happening at older generation. And this could be a great insight for those people, for example, who try to come up with marketing plan for EC. And sometimes gender becomes a factor in having a different kind of consumption behavior. And this is the gender-wise consumption index for bars. And again, it's a change against the past years. Blue line is for male, red line is for female. And clearly, bar consumption level goes down because less people would go out for the drinking purpose. But here, there's a slight difference between the genders. Female index dropped more than male's index. So there might be a trend that female are more reluctant to go out for the drinking purpose. On the other hand, this is the same index for liquor shops. Liquor shops index were doing better in the COVID time. This is because people tend to prefer buying alcohol at liquor shops and consume it at home. And here again, there's a slight difference between female and male, whereby females' figure increased more than male. So we could may be able to say that a trend of switching from bars to liquor shop was stronger in female group. And this could be a slight difference between two different genders, but this kind of difference can tell us a lot about how a different segment of consumers would react to a certain situation, such as COVID. And these were the only few examples of what JCB consumption now can provide, and it has unlimited ways of utilization as per customers' need and necessities. So we think that the importance of big data utilization is increasing day by day, and the field has many opportunities for payment players especially. And to JCB, it was quite important to understand what is the real value of our data and how we can customize it so that we can meet the various needs and demands of the markets. I hope this presentation has given some insight to the topic. Thank you.